Okay, so I wanted to do a video about like adaptations of anime to live action, i.e. what went wrong with Cowboy Bebop, and why it was canceled, Resident Evil movie, and then I kind of want to touch on a topic that is kind of like interesting, but it harkens back to one of the main reasons why I'm like, boo, angelic pretty boo. So, but we'll start with adaptations of anime and or video games and like artistic license and all those things. So, when apparently the Cowboy Bebop bit on Netflix was a disaster. I did watch some of it. I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. And let me start by saying, when it came to Cowboy Bebop, that was a show I was not prepared to love the way I did. When I first heard about it, I was a Moonie. And yes, I love Sailor Moon. Don't get me wrong, but you don't understand when I say I loved Sailor Moon. I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. I mean, it was an obsession. It was so fucking bad that I used to go to Chinatown in Philadelphia and scoop up Cantonese dubbed versions of Sailor Moon. That's how fucked up it was. That's how real the shit was for me. That I was sitting there watching Canto dubbed Sailor Moon. So at the time when Cowboy Bebop came floating around, I had, it was like spaceships and sci-fi-esque, and when I first heard about it, I was like, this doesn't seem like something I'd be trying to watch, ew. But then when my brother got me to sit down and watch it, I was like, oh my god, this is real good, oh my god, I loved it. I was just like, oh shit. So I did ultimately end up getting the series Cowboy Bebop, and when I heard Netflix was doing a live action adaptation of it, I think I was kind of indifferent. I was just kind of like, we'll see what it does. I know when it came to Death Note, which I never watched the anime version of Death Note either, but when it came to Death Note, people were mad. People were also mad at the casting. Like, somebody was black that wasn't supposed to be black, and I never got into it because I didn't watch Death Note. It didn't affect me. I didn't care. So it was just like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Just whatever. Bye. So I was kind of indifferent to it. I was like, well, we'll see what it's talking. We'll see what it's about. And like, if I'm in the mood, I'll go check it out when it comes on. So it came out while I was in Philadelphia, and my brother watched it. And my brother is a super, like, he loves Cowboy Bebop. And he was telling me, he's like, I could see where people are angry. He's like, for him, it was watchable. He was like, it's watchable. Like, he was like, I binged watched it actually, but there's a lot of problems with it. And there are things I just didn't agree with. And I was like, okay. He's like, you just watch it and see. So when I came back here, I was just like, and my husband was like, oh, Cowboy Bebop, let's watch Cowboy Bebop. First of all, as I've stated a couple of times, the Netflix here is so sometimey. It'll, like, you have, like, pretty much from noon till about 5 o'clock. And you can watch Netflix without it constantly buffering. But after 5 p.m. or whatever 100 o'clock it is, it's terrible. Everything just buffers for, like, ever. It's just sad. So one day we had a clear shot to watch Cowboy Bebop. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. My brother said it was reasonably, it was serviceable from what I got from my brother. So I watched it, and weirdly enough, I wasn't angry at the casting. I wasn't mad at, my brother did make the statement, the guy who plays Spike is okay. He's just not as cool as Spike is in the anime. Plus, I can't lie, I need that voice. I forget his name right now. Oh my god, the guy that does Spike, I forget his name, but I need that voice. I need it in my ear, because, I don't know, it's just something about that voice in the English dub. So, but I agree, it was like, he was a decent Spike. I'm not mad at that. It was just not, it was something a little off. And I can't put my finger on what that off thing is, but it was just something a little off, and I was just like, it's okay. I wasn't mad at Jet, because everybody was asking me, like, well, is Jet black? I'm like, exactly know. Jet always seemed like a light-skinned black dude to me, but I don't know. Whatever. I wasn't mad at Jet. He was alright. It was alright. I wasn't mad at the lady who played Faye. That was alright. But where I took, like, I was like, fuck you, I'm done, was the fact that whoever they got to play Vicious, that was not it. It was not it. It was not it at all. Vicious is he's not up there in the echelons that say Wesker and Akio and Jareth from Labyrinth, Akio from Shoujo Kakume Utena, and Wesker, of course, from Resident Evil. Those are like my three favorite villains. They're all, I've had that discussion before where they're all just like, oh, because they're like their Machiavellianism is just like through the fucking roof, and it just turns me on. I don't know why. It's a bad thing. I don't know why. I took a dark triad test, and apparently Machiavellianism is my number one on the dark triad. So I don't know. Maybe it's an admiration thing, not to be outing myself. But either way, I love those three villains. But Vicious is one of my all-time favorite villains. I wanted to write a fan fiction with Vicious about how he got to be so warped and fucked up, that his mother was a prostitute on Mars, and like she was pimping him out and stuff, but I never got around to writing it because I gotta go into like really dark headspaces to write dark things, and I don't think I want to go that fucking bleak, so I never wrote it. But all that to say, that guy that played Vicious was not it. That was not fucking popping. So, and then the thing that they made Julia and Vicious married? Okay, well, that's definitely a choice that you have to do. I don't necessarily agree with that choice, but nobody asks me these things. So, I am okay with taking artistic license when it makes sense, but as far as I remember, because I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop in a minute, not the full series. I haven't watched the full series in a long time, like well over a decade, because I have my favorite episodes that I watch. But like, as far as I remember, wasn't Julia like running away from Vicious because she and Spike had got together, and like I guess the implication was that really pissed Vicious all off. So he tried to kill Spike, and then she and Spike fucked off because Vicious was out for blood. Well, Vicious thought Spike was dead, or he might be dead, but Julia was fucking off because she knew if Vicious caught up to her, he would probably kill, would definitely, not even probably, definitely fucking kill her too. So, like, where was this marriage plot coming from? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Make it make fucking sense, Netflix. This is not making sense to me. So that was where I was like, check, please. I was just done. And then the episode that they brought Ein in, that is actually one of my favorite episodes of Cowboy Bebop. It's the second episode, and the way they brought Ein into the situation was just like, oh. It just left me flat. And I was like, oh. Well, I'm fucking out on this situation, and deuces, motherfucker. So I just was like, I ain't watching this. So then it came down the line that they canceled Cowboy Bebop after one season, and Monster Manos, I don't fucking know. So it's just, it's the same argument I have with Resident Evil, with the Resident Evil movie going around. And I did finally watch one lone soul who loved it. And I'm just like, and the things he was saying that he loved were the things that everybody universally criticized and hated. And I thought it was real weird, but kind of interesting as I'm listening to this man. Like, I love this movie. The graphics, well, actually, I don't think he said the graphics were great, but he took the movie kind of with a grain of salt. And as a hardcore fan of Resident Evil, I get it. It's like, you want your shit to be, if it's gonna have like a B movie, low budget quality, you want it to be fun. And all the reviews that I saw, except for his, it just didn't seem like it was fun to watch. That you were just kind of watching in like abject agony. And it was just like, and that's the same thing I kind of feel like they took artistic license with like making Jill be in love with Wesker, and they take artistic license from Cowboy Bebop with Julia and Vicious being married, and stop shipping people that don't need to be shipped together. It's not a good look. It's well, even though Vicious and Julia were in a relationship, but I'm saying they weren't married. Nobody was married. So what the fuck are we doing, man? So I don't know. It just make this shit make sense. Just make it make sense. And if you're good at, like, it's just, for me, I didn't watch it. I couldn't get through it. And I was surprised my brother, being such a super fan of Cowboy Bebop, was telling me, like, no, it's watchable. It was not watchable for me. Oh, it wasn't watchable in the least. I was just sitting there like, Jesus, what the fuck happened here? It was like, I don't think you understood. I don't think you understand the assignment. Whoever wrote that, I don't think you understood the assignment. You came in and you gave me an assignment it was supposed to be why I like sandwiches. That was the assignment you were given. You gave me an assignment talking about the life cycle of shrimp, and that was not what that was not the assignment you were given. So I don't think they understood their assignment. And that's why it was universally, like, slammed. It was slammed hard. I'm not going to go too hard on it because I didn't watch the whole thing. I just know for me, it was not it. It wasn't it. And it was just like, oh, this ain't it. My husband and our friend who was staying with us at the time, they were like, oh, no, it's not that bad. And I was like, I've seen the anime. It ain't it. So next time, if you don't understand your assignment, just ask the teacher. Just raise your hand. I don't think I understand my assignment. And, like, get a teacher to help you. But you didn't. And now it's too late because it died. It died in a very, very tragic grease fire. And there will be no more Cowboy Bebop. Speaking of Netflix shows, if you noticed, I did not watch Castlevania the 4th season. And I meant to talk about this a long, long time ago because that came out in the summer. I tried 3 times to watch Castlevania. I tried 3 times to watch season 4 of Castlevania. I couldn't get through the first 5 minutes. It was like every time I put it on, my brain was like, shut this the fuck off. And I was like, okay, brain, you're getting a little violent for my taste, but I'll shut it down if you don't want to watch it. And I know I have a friend who was vehemently opposed to the Castlevania animated series from the door. My brother was actually vehemently opposed to the Castlevania animated series from Jump Street. My brother watched it and hated it. My other friend, she watched it and she hated it. I actually liked the 1st season. That is for me the best of it. The rest of it was kind of like, season 2 was just them in a basement, and I only really liked the last 10 minutes of it, and then season 3 only got over because they threw that last minute fuck fest in there where people were fucking, and I was like, oh, people fucking? That's what I want to see. So and then we got to season 4 and it started, and I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. It like the last season just left a gross fucking taste in my mouth, and I was just like, I'm fucking done with this. I don't want to watch Castlevania anymore. So I haven't watched Castlevania the animated series. And then I'm still kind of pissy with the dude that's like the head creator of it, talking about, I don't want to add Grant Dynasty in it because I don't like his character. That's what he said. And it's like, bitch, it's not about what you like. You know, there is an interesting love triangle situation between Trevor, Sypha, and Grant Dynasty, because Grant Dynasty falls in love with Sypha, and that could be a very interesting dynamic to put in your bland fucking series. So, with people sitting in a basement for like 90% of a fucking season, I haven't forgotten about that, and I haven't forgiven that either. But what the fuck ever. So I can't. I'm done with Castlevania. I can't watch it anymore. It's like, nah, I'm straight. So yeah. So that's why I haven't. So, and lastly, the controversy with a YouTuber and Toei Animation, and how this harkens back to why I'm like pissed off with Angelic Pretty. So this has been going on for like at least a week or two. I don't remember who the YouTuber is, but he has been dedicated his entire channel to talking about Dragon Ball, one of the new Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball Super, I think is what they're up to, and a bunch of other anime series. And Toei Animation copyright claimed 150 of his videos, and then went back and took down 19 of them, and it fucking wrecked the shit out of his channel. And this is kind of fucked up because according to the man who runs that channel, he was like, he and Toei were collaborating or wanted him to like talk about a movie, an animated movie that had came out, and like he agreed to do it. And basically anything that's like that, where somebody is talking about an animated series or an anime or whatever the case may be. And it's the same thing with Nintendo. Nintendo pulls this shit a lot too, where they'll take down like footage of like Let's Plays and stuff of people playing Nintendo games. And this always fucking baffles me because it's publicity. Like, even if somebody says it's bad, there's always going to be a certain segment of people that are going to be like, I don't fucking trust your review. I'm going to play it for myself to see. And somebody will buy it and play it and be like, either agree or disagree. So it's just fucking publicity. Why are you getting your panties in a bunch over fucking publicity? Like, I would think you would want some people to be like, oh shit, I just saw this anime, it's fucking popping. I think everybody should go out right fucking now and go see this anime because it's real good. Because, yeah, but for whatever reason, Japan gets in these fucking hissy fits where they think Westerners are trying to like steal their ideas or some shit. And I don't get it. But I'm going to say this. Japan, for as much as they want to be like, oh, we're so progressive and we have all this technology and Akihabara is like the electric city and blah, blah, blah. For all of that talk, Japan is literally firmly stuck, and I would say between 1983 and 1992. They're stuck in those years. Their legislation has not progressed in terms of changing technology. I don't think in the last, I'm going to be polite and say the last 10, but I know it's probably been longer than that. And Japan, unfortunately, I was talking the other day about a gerontocracy where basically it's very old people running the show. That's a gerontocracy, but it's also a country of people who are way older. I forget what the median age of the average Japanese person is. So it's a country where it's just more older people than younger people. So they don't have any incentive at all to change. And they're stuck in kind of like this like weird, like kind of stuck in like this bubble of when things were great, and they don't want it. They don't have any, but more or less, they don't have any incentive to change. And I don't like a situation where they're basically bullying, my laundry's done, sorry for beeping. But I don't like a situation where a corporation can sit there and bully a YouTuber or bully a community of people because they know they don't have the financial means to duke it out. And it also, if you're gonna have your shit available in the wider world, basically you should follow the rules for that country. Basically, if you're doing business in the United States, basically, if you're a Japanese country and you're doing business, and you should be doing a shitload of business in the United States, You should follow their rules. So that means if fair use, if somebody wants to use clips from your shit to commentate on it, then you're under the US's blanket of fair use. You're not under Japan's, well, if anybody takes our shit, we're gonna fucking sue you kind of situation. It should be when in Rome. Do as you do as they do. But apparently no. So, and this brings me to like part of the reason I'm pissed off with Angelic Pretty. So, since I am like the neighborhood historian, since I've been in this shit for like 1,000 years, basically in 2012, before we got Instagram, we had Facebook, but it was mostly way before Instagram and other forms of like social media like TikTok and all that jazz. Pretty much you went to Facebook, but mostly in 2012 you went to LiveJournal. So LiveJournal had the EGL community, and they had started selling, I think like a year and some change before they started having like their EGL marketplace. So basically they were like, we're not going to sell replicas. You're not allowed to sell replicas, because people were selling replicas. Yes, I know. I don't want to get in that argument right now. I don't give a fuck about replicas as a whole, but I don't want to get in that argument right now. So they were like, please don't sell replicas. You're not allowed to sell replicas on our shit anymore. Stop doing it. So everybody stopped doing it. Fast forward a few months, I want to say 3 to 6 months later, there's like this huge, heavy blanket statement from the LiveJournal community that said, do not sell replicas and do not talk about replicas. And then it came out that Angelic Pretty had basically said that they would sue the LiveJournal community if anybody even so much breathed a word about replicas. And I thought that was so fucked up. Do you feel like a big man that you bullied a bunch of people that you know have no means to fight against you? Does that make you feel like like you've done something, like you fucking accomplished something? Because it didn't. It just made you look like a fucking asshole. So that's what Toei Animation is doing. It makes you look like a fucking asshole. And again, Japan and all that good stuff, they have no incentive to change. They're not going to. They have no incentive to, and it's just not going to fucking happen. I don't know what needs to happen in this, and everybody's like, well, it's YouTube's fault because YouTube doesn't give a fuck. Even if you are a high-end creator that has like over 1 million subscribers, unless you're a fucking corporation or a traditional celebrity, they're not going to support you. They're not going to help you with anything. They don't give a shit about you. To them, you're just another asshole off the block, and you're a dime a dozen, and there's plenty more where you came from. So they have no incentive whatsoever to help anybody because you are not their bread and butter. So... and that's just the real fucking tea on that situation. But I don't know. It's like, for me, I'm like super duper small potatoes. I'm like the smallest potatoes you could possibly throw in a pot. So nothing I say or do is gonna matter. But I just really don't like it when companies do this to people, to like regular everyday people. Go after the people that are actually actively profiting off of your shit, that are actively stealing shit. I don't see y'all going after these triads out here that's selling bootleg copies of shit. I don't see that fucking happening. But you gotta go fuck with this poor young man. I don't get it, there's no silver lining here. This is a case where nobody fucking wins. Toei Animation looks like a pack of assholes. This poor man has had his whole fucking channel wrecked, and nobody's fucking happy. So you didn't really accomplish anything in all of this. You just made yourself look like a fucking fool. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I know YouTube is a lot of people's source of income. People quit their jobs to do YouTube, and I just don't. I would very much advise against it. YouTube is too fucking fickle. I would just do something. And and I understand, like, people not only quit their jobs to do YouTube, but they also bring other people in, and everybody's just fucking daisy chained together. And when shit like this happens, it's like you don't have any support from anybody except your viewership. What the fuck do you expect people to do? So I don't know if there's an out for this. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I just wish that poor young man the best of luck trying to get his shit unwrapped. And fuck you, Toei Animation. Go find something else better to do with your sorry lives. Cause it's like, come on now. I know you have other shit to do. Go animate something and shut up. So that is all I have for right now. And I'm gonna get the fuck out of here because I got laundry I gotta go hang up. So until next time, later.